how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim coming to you from I-95 northbound. I'm moving from one town to the next as I finally work my way towards Palm Beach on the island, up there with the movers and shakers. Of course, they've all shook themselves out of town. It's insanely hot. I couldn't wait for my 4Runner to cool down from the camper to the truck. Oh my goodness, it is hot on this 4th of July week here in South Florida. I know I had a couple of comments from Texas and other places that it's a boiler there as well. Well, deal with it, right? What are we going to do? Complain? That's not the thing to do. Make friends with it. Take a shower. Just sweat. Just take another shower. I had a friend of mine tell me that one time. Just make friends with it. You know, I guess you could do the same thing where it's cold or rainy all the time, like Seattle. You know, I was thinking about different places to live because it's so expensive here. And if my luck runs out where I'm at now, I really have nowhere to go that I would, could afford or would want to afford if I could. And, I could share with Miss Tammy and, we could afford, but I just can't pull the trigger on shelling out every 30 days to some high dollar. But as I mentioned on my previous video, good times are coming. Things are going to start coming down now. And opportunities are going to be presenting themselves just in time for all those that have about had it up to here, that, they've spent all they could spend, they're in debt as much as they need to be, and they need a break. So we're going to catch one, and you're going to see there's going to be more rentals, more homes for sale, reduction in prices, fuel cost, everything. Things will become more competitive as there's more. The more there is of stuff, the cheaper it is. But today, I want to talk about when you should collect your Social Security. Is it 62? Or is it full retirement age, 67? Or even all the way up to 70? Well, there's only one reason that someone should not collect Social Security until they reach an age where it doesn't matter how much money they make. And one reason only, and that's because you're making way too much money. You're making so much money that you don't want to stop making it, and you like it, and you like the job, and everything else about it. So it wouldn't do you any good to collect Social Security because they would just turn right around and take it away from you because you're limited to how much money you can make. We all know that, right? Until we get to be a certain age. But what a lot of people don't know is if you're not making a fortune, but you're still making and you're paying into it, that rather than just wasting your time spinning your wheels, continuing to pay into it to get that extra $400 to $700 more by waiting 5 more years, by continuing to work and paying into it, is I say collect at 62 and get your from 17, 18 to 22,000 a year, depending on how much you've already paid into it, depending on how much money you've made. It's not really that much of a difference from one person to another, unless you're a spouse that really didn't work much, and you might be looking at a $600 or $800 Social Security check, but that doesn't mean it's going to be worth an incredible amount of money either at full retirement age. Even more of a reason to quit that job, take that free money, and get yourself a side hustle. Do a little job that you can make cash or part-time and 2 or 3 days a week, people say, well, if you're working, you're not retired. Yes, you're retired. I'm absolutely retired. I'm working because, yes, I do need to supplement what I have, but I'm doing the job I want to do. I'm not having to take any kind of a job, to make ends meet. A job that I can't stand my boss, people I work with, how far of a drive I got. But I'm in this prison where it's a decent paycheck, and I'm spending all this money on gas, lunches, dry cleaning, wear and tear on your car, all these things to keep doing it and grinding it out. And then your years are sliding by. Now you're 62, but you're not giving up. You should have retired at 55. At 62, now you're at the age where, like a car's got 100,000 miles on it, things start to break. So now here you are, you're going to keep working another 5 years, and life passes you by. All your things that you had on your bucket list that you wanted to go and do and travel, and places you haven't seen yet, and things you wanted to have, and places, like I said, you wanted to go. By the time you get to be full retirement age, your mental state is like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't feel like it, or I can't. Something happened to me at 65 or 64, and now I got to stay near a doctor's office. Or something happened, and whatever reason, and it prevents you from living that life. I can't stand loud mufflers. Life is more than money. But if you can get some free money that's yours, that you paid into, you realize you're going to let them keep $80,000 to $105,000 by continuing to work to make whatever, but you lost that? It makes no sense. The only sense it makes, and I would do it too, I would never be on my Social Security right now if I was making 100, 150K. I was the manager. I had banker's hours. I loved it. It was my own business. I had people that I was working for. They're making me money. And what do I need to quit for and go down and take a pay cut? But if you're just a regular schmuck like me, a regular guy, and you don't work for a company that, you put 20 or 30 years in, you're going to get some big pension, and, it's not a county job, a city job, a big manufacturing corporation company. Most people bounce around their whole life, and all they have is their Social Security or what they've been able to save. Maybe you've been a homeowner and you flipped a couple of houses and you've got some equity now, and that's good. Me personally, I was self-employed. But anyway, let's get back to that. You get your money at 62, and if you do work for yourself, it's only your adjusted gross income that you have to worry about exceeding the income limit. You can write down a lot of money when you work for yourself. The $21,240 that you can make this year in 2023, you could literally pocket, double that and have that in deductions, creative deductions that we all do, that every company, every self-employed person does. Your phone, your car, your clothing, your hotel, all these things. I don't have to list A to Z. You can Google it. There's all kinds of things. Get an accountant. Pay him a couple $100 to do your taxes at the end of the year if you're self-employed. Have him get creative with these deductions, and then get that income down. Then, on your calendar year that you're going to be full retirement age, that calendar year, you don't even have to worry about getting it written down that much, because you can make $56,000 this year at full retirement. So let's say I was going to be 66 in 8 months, which is full retirement for me, in 2023. I was going to reach that this year. That $21,240 is now $56,000. So I only had to sweat it, 62, and then the balance of 62, the months, don't quote me on this, but there's a couple of months that You only have to worry about exceeding your income if you start drawing your Social Security in the middle of the year somewhere or later in the year on your 62nd birthday and you get that first check. The income that you made, there's kind of like a pass you get on either the following months for the rest of that year or the months up to. I'm not real clear about it. You'll have to look that one up. But I can tell you this: if you decided also you remember the do-over. Let's say at 62, I'm wrong, you're wrong, the whole world's wrong, and you decided they called you back to work. There was a big promotion. Man, it was a mistake to draw it. I can make all this money. Something happened. Your ship came in. You just simply call a Social Security office and say, stop, do over. I'll let you know next year or the year after or whatever year I decide I want to collect my Social Security again. And all they're going to do is not ask you for a penny back at that time. But when you draw in the future, again, when you decide to take it, whether it be the next year or 2 years later, not only will you get that higher amount also, because it will now be based on that year, you only have to wait when you ask for it those months that they've paid you already. If you collected 6 months, 3 months, 11 months of Social Security on your first year and you decided to do a do-over, those months you would not get a check. Those following 6, 8, 10, 11 months until you paid them back. And then you would start drawing your Social Security, and it would be for that new big giant check that everybody says wait for. At that point, it is kind of a bonus because you didn't take it because you were going to make so much more money that you wanted to make, and you were still paying into it, and then you ended up getting more. So, there's that. But that's like a rare thing. I thought when the pandemic hit and everybody was like not going to care if I stood next to them because I was in direct sales, that if I started drawing my Social Security, I might want to do a do-over. But that was because I wasn't thinking about it doesn't really add up. That you got to be 80 years old before it evens out. So there's no reason except the one. That is the only reason, folks. You're making too much money and you absolutely love that job. Otherwise, get your money, start enjoying your life, get a side hustle, supplement it, get a couple of side hustles. Make it fun. Look at me, man. I love this. I'm gonna be passing out some Shandong wine spritzers in a minute. I'm on the island. You can see behind me. I'm on the island of Palm Beach right now. And I'm going in. I work for myself. No one's over my shoulder. No one knows when I get there, when I leave. It's an honor system. And I put my hours in. I get a check. They send it to me via automatic deposit. And now I'm getting not $1,500 more a month, which I can make. It's not that much. But I'm getting enough money doing this side hustle, this one gig. And I'm getting ready to add more of these wine things to it to get up to that $1,500. To the $1,700 I'm already getting. That's like $3,000 a month. Come on. That's not a good amount of money. And that will be money that I get to spend every month. I get the whole $1,700. That's take home from the Social Security. And these gigs I'm doing are 1099s. Actually, the one I'm doing right now is a W-2. But the taxes are negligible because it's not a very big check every week. So it's not that much. But these other ones that I'm trying to sign up on, they are a 1099. And a lot of companies are going to 1099 employees. The way that the world is changing right now with the new coming layoffs and businesses going out and they don't want to hire full-time people, they're just going to hire like these 1099 people to do these full-time jobs for them when they need them and let people work when they want to work. And people are going to be doing, multiple things. I mean, AI is coming in. There's lots of things that are going to be, it's very dynamic right now and very fluid as to what will be transpiring. And exponentially, it's like technology, like those phones. Things happen so rapidly. I mean, look at from the beginning of the pandemic just 2.5 years ago, March of 2020 to today. All of those things, from the day they told us to go home and give us 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Look at all the things, how fast they happened and went out, and the next thing, and the next thing. And now look where we're at. And now look what we're going to go into. And don't think that this economy isn't going to be changing with a breakdown, with things starting to go down. That's not good for some people, but very good for what we need. So there's a lot that I'm trying to get into here, but the bottom line is get your money. At 62 years old, lighten your load. You only get one life. You don't get a new contract. You don't know if you're going to get sick. You don't know if you're going to live to be 67. You don't know if your marital status is going to change. You don't know where you're going to live. You don't know what the cost of living will be. You don't know what war, another pandemic could break out. You don't know anything. All you know is what's going on right now. And when you get to be 62 and you've got don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Don't look at a $20 bill on the ground and walk by it and don't pick it up and say, maybe tomorrow it'll be worth a 50. There'll be a 50 there. Come on. So start crushing it.